So as of right now, things are really looking up when it comes to the Star Wars franchise. We have Mando Season 3, Chapter 17, now officially out on Disney+. That has been actually quite, impressive by John and Dave, and exactly what they were able to introduce to the fans to really build things up right from the beginning. So we have that, we have the Ahsoka TV series currently in post-production, which, by the way, they want to begin marketing the show by this summer because they're aiming for a fall release. They're looking at an October timeframe, give or take, but I digress. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, given that, of course, FAVREAU and Filoni have been very busy and held up with a lot of work on their end, working day in and day out on a lot of upcoming Star Wars shows and Star Wars films and all the lore that's being switched around to make retcons toward the sequel trilogy movies and a whole lot more than that as well. We also have Lucasfilm really kind of trying to convince fans that Star Wars is going to become more successful than ever before. That's exactly why they are going to be announcing different portions of the roadmap at separate events, starting off with Celebration next month, then D23 later this year, and in between all of this, they're going to make more announcements at different earnings calls, the last one of which I believe is in November. So, moving beyond all of this, a lot of fans have been very curious about Gina Carano, aka Cara Dune, the character that she played in The Mandalorian Season 1 and 2, and exactly what's happening with all of this in the background, right? So let's dive right into all of this. Now, one thing is for certain is that Lucasfilm, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, they are planning a lot of big things for her return in Mando Season 4. However, when a Lucasfilm spokesperson was actually questioned about this, it kind of makes you feel a little bit reassured as well as a little bit on edge. Let's dive into this. Now, with many new Star Wars projects in the works by Disney and Lucasfilm, creators Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are currently active developing multiple mystery projects as well. Now further, however, in a recent interview provided by a Lucasfilm spokesperson that responded to plans for Gina Carano's return in future Star Wars shows, and went on to tease and hint something reassuring for fans. Now the spokesperson stated the following: "At the time, Miss Kennedy felt it was the best case scenario to lay off Miss Carano from any future Mandalorian spin-offs and seasons, and one update that I can bring to the table is that there are various conversations happening right now over at Disney on plans to find a way that we can bring Gina back in a balanced manner, first to test the waters and to analyze fan reactions to her return. Separate from this is a work in progress and something that we, as well as John and Dave, are reaching for, and it's something that we think may be best for the community in the long run." Now let me just stop right here for a second. Now, we know that everything related to Gina Carano getting laid off, fired basically, in such a terrible way by Kathleen Kennedy is the exact reason why a lot of fans split apart. Because you had fans that liked Gina Carano, you also have fans that dread Gina Carano. They just loathe her, and there's just a divide between fans based on their opinions. Which in the end, it really does kind of create some kind of problem, and the Lucasfilm spokesperson continues to actually talk about this. We'll talk about that in a second, of how they do realize that this is a very controversial thing to touch on and to kind of deal with, and that's exactly why it's been a work in progress, as they've said. So, yeah, Gina was supposed to be in Mando 3 in the very beginning before she got fired, and basically that went sour. She was also supposed to be in Rangers of the New Republic. That too went south because, she was going to be the lead of the show, and ever since she was fired, the show just fell apart piece by piece. So that brings us to exactly where we stand today. Now, it's the beginning of March, and it's crazy how fast time is just flying by. We know that Gina has the opportunity to accept or decline to come back by this May, and that's pretty much a thing set in motion right now. However, beyond all of this, he goes on to elaborate. We are very well aware that this is a controversial thing on embracing, but we are looking to make things right with a large portion of our fan base to keep things functional and fair for all audiences that love and support certain characters. We learned so many young women and children looked up to Gina's character, and we would love to reinstate that reaction somehow. Again, it's a matter that we are taking very carefully and taking the necessary steps to make this work well with everyone, be it creators and audiences. It's our goal to go above and beyond expectations for the fandom, and that's our aim right now. So, to elaborate things further, alright, Lucasfilm obviously is afraid to confirm or deny fully on exactly what's happening. We do know, behind the scenes, behind closed doors, John and Dave have been doing this for a very long time, creating a short story for Gina's return in Mando 4 for starters, as well as throwing in deleted scenes of Gina Carano for an upcoming mystery Star Wars project that was actually filmed from Mando Season 2 that never saw the light of day. Now, that really brings one to question here exactly whether or not this is going to be a good move or a bad move on Lucasfilm's part for holding back so long, right? It may create a bad image in itself, where it may come across as being very disingenuous, where they are bringing Gina back for a marketing move, because that's definitely what it is, at least on the company level. John and Dave genuinely love Gina Carano. They like her. They support her. Mark Hamill in secret supports her. We talked about his true feelings about that just a couple of days ago. And I think he's one of the top guys that Gina hinted at, that there were names that she did not want to name that supported her on set, and I believe it was, yes, Mark Hamill, because just a couple of days ago, he said he had no problems with her, that, yeah, he doesn't really, agree with her political views and stuff like that, but he still respects her as a person. So there's that in that regard. On top of that, given that Star Wars in and of itself, has a lot of politics in there, that's something that, is going to be driven in Andor Season 2 especially more so. But we know that Gina Carano, right, as a character for Cara Dune, for the character of Cara Dune herself, they want to make sure that they can find a way to bring that character back, because they know there's such a large fan base of young women and children that looked up to the character. I know a lot of casual fans myself that have a lot of family members that are, like they said, young women and children that love the character well before the whole drama started. So it wasn't just because of the drama, they actually liked the character. And so I think that's why you got a reaction as big as it was. So anyways, with that being all put out there and said, guys, let me know what you guys have to say about, Lucasfilm's overall take on things for Gina and Cara Dune. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up below and let me know what you guys have to say about all of this, because it is a very interesting time between John and Dave and how they're attempting to fix things for the fandom overall. So anyways, guys, this is Mike Zero signing out, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.